why don't you just buy another RV? Just go back to the USA and buy another RV. Let me go inside and we'll get into that discussion and why that's, one, not an option, and two, just isn't really a smart option. All right, we are heading down to the bus station today. Lorena is on her way back to Los Barriles.
Yes.
For a couple of days.
First foremost is like to visit my mom and the pets, and then there's a few things I need to do there.
Oh yeah, we can get into that too. It hasn't been just the motor, folks. It's just been a slew of stuff.
Oh my God, let's see if you can.
Oh wow, check this out. Oh, let me try and turn it. Can you see the hummingbird up there, folks? Like right above our heads. Look at him up there, or her. I'm sure I'm gonna scare it. Oh, that is amazing. How cool is that? That was awesome. All right, let's roll. The water today is just flat as a pancake. I mean, if you make your pancakes flat, I guess. Very, very nice. Lorena is up buying her ticket for the bus. We're here at the bus station. That's not her bus, it's another half hour, so I assume it's one of the ones sitting way back there against the wall. We'll pull up at 11:30. We got a half hour yet before she heads out, so we're gonna hang out, check out the water, and well, are you good? Awesome, awesome. And how much was the ticket to Los Barriles?
230 pesos. That would be
11 bucks.
$12.
$12.
Rounded to $12.
So round trip 24 bucks,
Yeah.
somewhere around
So the
there.
round trip in the car, fuel wise, is gonna be $40 to $50. I would say.
Yeah.
So it's cheaper to go here.
And you don't have to worry about driving.
The only thing is, like, if I was carrying a lot of stuff, like we're doing like a grocery haul or something like that, yeah.
Right.
The car comes here.
Right. All right, let's hang out outside, huh? Or do you want to hang out in here?
No, we're still half an hour away.
All right. Before Lori gets on the bus, a couple of things that she's going down there for. One of them is just to visit her mom, obviously, spend a little time with mom and see how she's doing. We've been gone now 2 weeks or 3 weeks? Going on 3 weeks. It's crazy. And we're 120 kilometers away. So just around 70 miles only we've made in our trip north in 3 weeks. Woo, just killing it. But one of the other reasons that she's going up there is to get parts. The engine has only been one part of this crazy trip.
What are we going to talk about dramas?
No, we won't talk about all the drama, but it's just...
I have a long list of things that need to be replaced, that has broken, that all that kind of stuff.
It's crazy. Like literally, you know, obviously you guys knew that the month before we were getting to leave, I had a phone issue. Somewhat got that resolved, but then didn't. But now I've got a new case on it, and that's been fine. The engine thing happened.
Emotional, damn it!
We didn't talk about a battery issue, a chassis battery issue that we had when we left, and we're like, we'll just replace that on the road. So not a big deal. No need to mention that. And then after the motor, and we got here, our Starlink failed, which that is one of the things Lori's going to pick up.
Yes, our new Starlink.
In a comedy of errors, I went to go out the door a week or so ago on the screen door, and the screen door handle broke off in my hand.
And then we went to shower, and the pump is kind of like, sometimes likes to work, sometimes it doesn't like to work. We don't know why, but sometimes we're in the middle of the shower with our ISOP and it just stops working.
Yeah, so one of us stands out flipping the pump off and on so that it doesn't run too long and shut off. And so we've got a water pump coming to Los Barriles as well.
Yeah, the batteries, the house battery.
And the house batteries are toast.
And my day is ruined.
Yes, we don't know if it's because we've been plugging for so long they weren't really quite used, or it's just time for them to go.
It's time for them to go. This is 2025. We put those in early 2018, and they are AGM batteries. So we knew they were getting close, and we'll talk about the lithium battery deal that we've got, that we were on our way to get.
We have batteries waiting for us in Palm Springs right now.
Yes.
So we'll get there eventually.
We'll get there eventually and get our lithium batteries installed. But we didn't expect to be stuck here this long, and we didn't know that the batteries were that close to going out. So they are.
There's so many little things like that I don't know if we're bringing the bad vibes or something like that everything is breaking.
This is not okay. This needs to stop.
But even household stuff, my NutriBullet is about to go out. Our Keurig
coffee maker is toast.
Is right now starting to spill water in different places. So
as you're brewing, it just pours water out the bottom of it all over the place.
It's just weird. Like,
it's just a comedy of errors. So I don't know. We'll see.
So right now I'm gonna go and pick up 3 things in Los Gorillas and bring them back here and visit my mom and the doggies and the cats.
So that's a little brief update, and I'm going to be by myself here for a few days, which Lori knows is always dangerous, but I am going to try and get some work done. I'm going to I'm going to clean the carburetor in the generator because that one's acting funky as well, but it's been 2 years of hardly getting used, so I'm assuming there's some gasoline gunk in there. We'll get that, but if I do anything fun and crazy while Lori's gone, then I'll share that as well.
By the way, don't mind the people behind us. They're actually, I think it's Guardia Nacional. Yeah, they're Guardia Nacional. They're always in the Motorhome making sure everybody is doing all right, that there is no craziness happening. So it's not like anything dangerous is around us. It's just they're just here for support.
Yeah, I don't know if they can see any of that. The Malecon is pretty busy. Oh, that is Guardia Nacional right there. So yeah, I did not know. It is busy down here on the Malecon, but it is beautiful out on the water. Check that out. We should be on paddleboards.
It's a good thing because it's beautiful for kayaking, paddleboards if you want to go in and swim. Bad thing because when there is no air, there's no wind, there's no breeze, it just gets hot.
It is going to get hot over these next couple of days.
So for sure. I saw my app, and here in La Paz, it's going to get the high to 95 tomorrow. Today I think it's going to be 93, tomorrow 95. Los Gorillas, I think it's because it's more in the water and it gets more breeze, or I have no idea. It's going to be up to 86. So it's going to be nicer over there.
Cool.
So I feel bad for you and for Ozzy.
Yeah, well, we'll just keep the fans on and see what happens. Lori's about to get on the bus and head off to Los Gorillas. See ya. And there she goes. All right, now I've got to go get the car and head back to the RV and try and get some work done. Of course, what I really feel like I should do is go get the paddleboard and come down here and go paddleboarding, but I know Lorena would kill me if I went paddleboarding without her, so I'm not going to do that. I will say though, it is a beautiful day out here in La Paz. But I really have to put the camera down because you don't want to get caught driving here with a phone in your hand. That'll just give them an excuse to pull me over. All right, I am back from dropping Lorena off, and now I've got some projects I need to think about getting into. The engine here, I think I'm gonna take off the exhaust manifolds for the guys, and there is one exhaust bolt there, one of the studs that are broke, so I'm gonna probably drill that out, or I guess I can probably punch that out. We'll see. Nope, they don't punch out. They're gonna have to be drilled out, so I'll get to working on that, and then we'll see what else I can do. I'm probably gonna work on the generator. The generator's been a little funky. I haven't really done anything for that for the last couple of years, so we'll get in there and maybe clear out the carburetor on that, or clean out the carburetor on that. A couple of things I want to address that I've been getting in the comments. One of those is, I know I act like an idiot on YouTube, but I'm a pretty good mechanic. And the first time I ever tore a V8 Chevy apart, I was probably 15 or 16. We had this little back room in our house that went out to the shed and downstairs into the basement. And that's where we kept a freezer. And I actually put a 4x8 sheet of plywood on the freezer. I don't know if it was the full sheet. We might have cut it down a little bit. But we put a 4x8 sheet of plywood on that freezer, and I tore that V8 engine apart on top of my mom's freezer. And I did that because it was winter time and we didn't want to do it out in the shed because it would be cold. So I did it in there. And I remember having to, you know, my dad and I would have to lift the engine up and let my mom go in and get stuff out of the freezer. And then, you know, we could have shut her in there if we wanted to, but then we'd shut that thing down, and I worked on it right there on top of that freezer. So that was the first time I ever pulled it apart. So I'm a pretty good mechanic. So I realized there are a lot better ways that some of this stuff can be done. But as somebody who works on this stuff, there is nothing worse than having somebody else get in the middle of what you're doing. And so I've been trying to stay out of this as much as possible. And yes, a lot of this is cringeworthy. They probably should be doing it a different way, or there are different ways that it can be done. But I'm trying to stay out of it as much as possible and only put my hands in it in small areas. Now, the second thing is, why don't you just buy another RV? Just go back to the USA and buy another RV. So let me go inside and we'll get into that discussion and why that's, one, not an option, and two, just isn't really a smart option. Now, before I get into my computer and go over all of the numbers and why, when I say it's not a smart decision, I mean it's not a financially smart decision. When you're trying to figure out new or used from a financial standpoint, you can almost never justify new over used. You just can't, not financially anyways. If money's no object, yeah, go ahead, buy new. Absolutely. And if any of you guys are offering to buy us a brand new motorhome, please let us know. You can use our PayPal here at psharon5150 at gmail.com. Hey, just in case you were offering, maybe that's what you meant. Maybe I misunderstood. Maybe you said, hey, go north and we'll buy you a new RV. I don't know. Could be. Probably not. Financially, it's always going to make more sense to either buy used, or in our case, when you have a used RV already, it's almost always going to be a better decision financially to repair what you already have. And that's cars, trucks, motorcycles, RVs, airplanes, I'm sure, all of that kind of stuff. And we'll drop here into my computer and I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. All right, so one of the first things I want to do is see if we can find anything that is around our year to give you a comparison to what our RV is worth. I went ahead and set that up before starting so that we don't have to worry about me going through all the different listings. So right here, there's a 2005 Fleetwood Flare, the same size as the 33R, around 25,000, a 31-foot 2005 for 30,000, and that's what we figure ours is worth, somewhere between 24 and 30, really. So, and it could be as little as, you know, 22, let's say 22,000 to 28,000. All right, that's what our RV is worth used with a motor running. What's it worth right now without any motor? It's worth zero. It's really worth zero to most people. They're gonna have to worry about getting a motor, and even if we towed this thing back up to the US or tried to sell it here, it literally could become a casita here for us or for someone else. But as a motorhome, as a recreational vehicle, it's worth $0. Okay, so let's take a look at what it would cost us to buy a new or replacement Class A in about the same size. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bump these up to 2020, and we're going to go to 2020. We'll go to 2025. Let's go like brand new. Let's just see what a brand new Class A is worth for us here. Let's say if we went to go to a 2024. So there's a 2024 Flare right here, a 32N, so approximately the same size, a little bit smaller, $125,000. All right, you see where I'm going with this already? 125 grand if we were to go new, and that's actually showing it as a used 2024. Does it show, do we have anything new here in a Flare? No, there's a used one there that's a 2022 for 120K. So you can see how These things are up around 100K. There's a 2020. There's 82,000. Now, I know from searching the internet that if I stay within that, the campgrounds have that 10-year thing. So if we're in 2025, let's say I go 2015 or above, the cheapest 2015 that I'm going to be able to find, I think it is around, let me see, is around 60,000. Let me see if I go down to 2014 through 2016 and see what we can find. So there's suggested listings, there's 2019. Is there anything down in the 2015 range? It's not showing anything yet. Well, there's new, so you can see new, 125,000, 130,000 for a new Fleetwood Flare, and I'm not seeing any used. I did see a used before, so around 60,000. So if we were looking around 2016, oh, there's a 2016 Flare right there. So it's a smaller one. It's a 31 foot, so probably a 32 foot. So there's 45,000. But again, I know I've seen our size for around 60. But even I'll give you 45,000 if we went with something that's within that 10-year range from used to new, so that we don't have to worry about the campground thing and all that, right? Let's say 45,000 at the very least to replace our coach with something a little bit newer and that's still going to be able to get into campgrounds, no problem at all. $45,000. All right, the motor's toasting this thing, right? So right now it is worth $0. So in order for us to really go, well, it's not worth it, we would really have to spend $45,000 on this thing to go, well, we could just buy something that's within the 10-year range and not have any issues. But even buying that $45,000 coach does not mean that thing is not going to break down and smoke the motor a month after we get it. It's just not. There's no guarantee that that's not going to happen again right away. None whatsoever. Now, we could probably do some insurance things for the motor, and I wish we'd had that for this coach. We didn't. That's neither here nor there. Hindsight is always 20/20. Right now we're looking at a bill between, probably all said and done, 6 to maybe 10. These guys are saying they can do it for under 6. I don't see that happening, but right now that's what we're keeping our fingers crossed for. So let's say we go 10, and maybe even let's say we go 15 grand. It is still much cheaper than spending $45,000 on another coach that may do the exact same thing soon after we buy it. You just cannot let's say that cost us $20,000 to $25,000. Let's say we have to replace the motor and the transmission. Let's say that we have to repair the generator at $5K or whatever it is. Let's say we wind up $30K in. This is the devil we know. We know what this coach has going on. Not only that, with this coach here, let's say at $45,000, we know that we're going to spend another 10 grand upgrading it to the solar that we have on this coach. We're going to be in at 55 by the time we put inverter, solar charge controllers, new solar panels, all the mounts, all the wiring, all that kind of stuff, the new batteries and all those sort of things that we're going to need to get for this. It's still not going to have what we have in this coach. And that goes with any car. I've had friends that, they have a couple of motor problems with their car. They've got a used car. They have a couple of motor problems, and that's their justification for going and buying a new car. You're never going to be able to justify it financially. Just going and, you've got let's say a $10,000 new car that has a $5,000 motor problem, and you go, oh man, I'm just getting rid of this. And then you go out and buy a $30,000 or $40,000 new car. It just makes no sense. Now, will the new car have no problems? It's very possible. It's very likely that if you buy brand new, you will have no problems. So if we spend $125,000, and an RV is not a good example of that, because you folks know darn well that if you spend $125,000 on a new coach, it does not matter that things aren't going to break as soon as you drive it off the lot. Hence the shakedown trips, right? So all kinds of things are going to go wrong with that thing, or could go wrong with it. You could wind up spending months in the shop fixing that stuff. So what I'm trying to say with all of this is that you just simply, from a financial standpoint, justify just going out and buying a new coach. You just can't justify it financially. And again, if any of you guys want to buy us a new coach, here's my email address. I'll put it up there, and you guys can PayPal me the money. Or send me a message, and you can wire transfer it to me. We cannot justify buying a new coach, and we're really just not in a position to buy a brand new coach. So just being dismissive and saying, why don't you guys just go buy a new coach? That's great if you are in a financial position where you can just do that. We're just not there. So we have to fix this coach because, again, right now it's worth nothing. Absolutely nothing. And until we put a new motor in it, where now we should have less of an opportunity for things to go wrong. And of course, that doesn't mean that's going to happen either. We could put a rebuilt motor in this thing and next month it could go out. And if money was no object, would I do that? Absolutely. Lorena deserves to be in a brand new 34-foot diesel pusher, for crying out loud. It's just we're not in a position to do that. So that's my take on all of that. And we're going to continue to march forward, getting old Freya fixed up here, and hopefully get back on the road soon. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video.